everybody, welcome to week 9, your code along for JavaScript. And this was a nice continuation of last week's with adding some new dimension. I really thought it was a nice code chunk related to last week and adding some new things. So very much like last week, what I'm going to have you do is, besides the required commit indicators, places, bookmarks, okay, along with the commit messages that I want you to do at these points, I'm also going to do like I did last week. And I did this as I did the code along, is I wrote some questions so to help clarify your understanding and make you think a little more about what this is doing instead of just coding it. And again, I want to see documentation, right? So and I need to include this. So that's an important part, is I'm hoping, and it's actually something I was thinking about, like at this point, by the time you've seen this, you will have attempted your own module. And I'm actually, because I have on the next one, so let me be clear here. What I'm thinking now is here we are. And FYI, if I haven't said this, I'll be gone. I think I have, but just good reminder. I'm gone from the 11th of October until the 16th, which means I'll be working ahead this weekend. So in this case, here's what I'm thinking. I actually read your feedback about the JavaScript, and it was good. Some of you liked getting the muscle memory. Several comments, and I think they're really well founded, is that there's just not enough of the actual applying some of these concepts that you feel like you would remember them. And it is definitely muscle memory. And the other comment I got, I think twice, was that, the whole cut and pasting and doing it was almost faster, was almost taking longer, and that's kind of not the idea, although, the quicker you are with that stuff, the better. So I'm actually thinking, combine that feedback with what we're covering here, along with the JavaScript, the weird parts. I think I'm going to move, at least into week 10, the JavaScript weird parts into here, and then do something similar to with the concept of you creating something from what we're learning. Okay, so this is my kind of thinking out loud, and I always appreciate your input, because we're doing this together, and what happens is, because I'm working ahead of you, I don't because I haven't seen you do the work, and I haven't seen if this is hopefully helpful to you actually being able to translate these concepts and this code along into actual coding skill. It's just my attempt. So that's okay too, because by the time I get back from here, I'll have a little better idea of what that is. But I think so far this seems to be working a little better. So we'll see. Okay, so I started down the path of talking about this, and I took a little sidetrack. Okay, but this is a continuation. So you're now doing a truck module, and you're doing something similar to it should be data store, not database. That's a very common mistake. So you're doing a truck method here, okay, but you're adding some things differently, and you're interfacing with the data store methods. And I have a couple questions about that, and they use some words that haven't quite been used before. Substantiation, what does that mean? So to instantiate something. Okay, so answer these questions, right? And again, answer it in your My Answers, right, in your Coffee Run folder, and answer them under a week 9 heading, right? And then because this is the second time we've done it, right, at the end, and last time I asked you, and I haven't seen anybody submit it yet, is for you to describe what you did last week to somebody and see how that was. This actually might be another good one to do, But so for this week, one thing I'm going to add is I'm recording as I want, do you feel this helps you understand? Okay. And what I mean by this is doing these questions. Do you feel answering these questions helps you? Okay, so I want to know that this time, right? Especially after you've done this. And again, I think what feels good this time for me is to actually do what I said, which is to change instead of the next section of JavaScript challenges, because we've actually ended now the JavaScript section, and I am going to have us go ahead and do some of the other stuff in the coming weeks. But I think for now, because it really, the next section on the JavaScript, the weird parts, feeds right into what we're doing. So I think that's just a good change that I'm going to go ahead and make this time. The other thing I'd recommend you do and is to search YouTube or Fun Function, and this was recorded last year, but this was really great, which was object creation, bind, and this. Because understanding first the section here where you're learning how to debug couldn't be more helpful. I mean, that really the way they're having you set a breakpoint, look at the variables. They didn't even talk about the call stack, but you can look at that. And also the way that you can troubleshoot, because it shows you in the errors often, at least where the error is being thrown in your code. That is so, I mean, that skill right there alone will just serve you so well as you continue with no matter what programming, what coding you do, is knowing how to troubleshoot and find your errors. And in this case, I really liked how they used that error to describe the idea of bind and why you needed the bind in the callback. And so I think it really is beneficial to help understand the bind in this concept. And I think MPJ or Fun Function really does a good job here. So, if you want, check that out, see if it helps. And then he has actually a follow-up. This is actually a little mini series. This is part 1, and he does a part 2 and 3. So I think that should be helpful. Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to say here, and the good news is, for the most part, I think all of you are fine here, but we are, and I do need to mention, we are at week 9, and this is tomorrow. Like, you will finish this on the Thursday night, or hopefully before, but on the 13th is the last point to drop this class. So if you're not doing well, which is not true for the majority of you, which is totally awesome, and even if you didn't do so great on the Develop It 1 and 2, all the other work should help balance this out to still be in good standing. It's really the students who have stopped submitting are in the camp of folks that I'm really talking to mostly here, is that you need to make that decision now about if you're going to hang out or if you're going to try this another semester. I will tell you, this class is not taught next semester. I tried to get them into the schedule, but it's not being taught next semester. As I said before, I think as of now, I'm pretty sure that I will be teaching CIT94 Node.js, which is the server side of JavaScript. I will be teaching it in the classroom. So I hope to see some of your faces in there. And you'll learn more as that approaches how I'm gonna do something similar to what I've done here and something different in that example. Okay, enough for today. Have a great one. And I will be working on week 10 because, as I've said, I'm going to be gone part of this week and this. So I'm going to try to work ahead. And what's nice is after this code up, we actually have a section on Bootstrap. So it's kind of a nice change of pace, I think, too, but it also really important, talks about the user interface. But I'm going to start now thinking about how I'm going to change this up right here. And then I think I am going to do this a similar thing where I have you create, like I said. All right, have a great rest of your week. DevFest is coming. If you're not signed up, I definitely take a look at the schedule. There's some awesome stuff in there. Talk to you later.